Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. So, last time I've probably figured out, like, most of her body here, but then it's like, I looked at the reference and I'm like, what is even going on here? Her legs are extremely long. So I had to increase the size of the canvas to try to accommodate that, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get them quite as long proportionately as they are in her official art. Like, right now this feels extremely long to me, and I still don't really like the way it looks. So that's the first thing I want to fix. And then I want to draw the hand. I tried to do it yesterday. Well, not yesterday, but last time. And, didn't quite work out. I'll just leave it at that. But this time I came prepared. I took a picture of my hand, so I will not draw the hands backwards this time. So I should have a proper hand reference here. Ah. Whoa there. Swallowed funny. Okay. So, first thing I want to do is poke at her legs again. I'm trying to figure out what it is that's bothering me, and I think her knees are probably just a little bit too low here. But even if I made them higher up, I still think it would bother me, so I've been thinking about how to kind of deal with that. And I do actually have some thoughts. I'm gonna go ahead and start with just raising her knees. Just a little bit here. But I'm also wondering if I can get the impression of longer legs than I could normally get away with if I included a little bit more perspective. Like, I'm going for something that looks like stained glass here. So, I want to keep things looking relatively flat. I actually kind of like that aspect of stained glass where it's not necessarily going for something super realistic and three-dimensional. It's just, I don't know, nice looking stained glass or something. I don't know how to describe it, but that's kind of what I've been thinking about, and I'll probably move the back foot over a little bit more too while I'm here. So I haven't been thinking that hard about perspective. I mean, I've got a little bit on her head because I wanted it to be tilted back very slightly, but even that's not like super perspective-y. But I was wondering if I selected all these layers here and just grabbed everything kind of related to her legs and made them just a little bit more perspective-y, would that let me get away with making her legs feel unnaturally long? So this way it still feels Kronii-esque without driving me absolutely insane. So, let's find out. There we go. I did my right click a little bit too soon. So, all I'm gonna do is basically make her lower body larger relative to her upper body here, and then just kinda... Ooh. Okay, I've had another thought. So, I think it's working. I'm glad, because I wasn't sure what I was gonna do if it didn't. I really wasn't. Okay, but yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Have a nice little step forward. I think it works. And then I think I'm going to emphasize that step forward a little bit by making her back feet a bit smaller. I don't like the way either of them look right now, but, you know, it's fine. I will definitely fix it later. And that will require a little bit of change in this part here. I think it might actually make more sense for it to disappear completely. Yeah, I think so. Maybe... Look, it might take some finagling, but I'll try to figure something out. And for that, I might change the perspective on her front leg just a little bit. Right now, I kind of have it bent to the side, but if I'm going to have it going forward, it should go freaking forward. And I should emphasize that as much as possible. Right now, I have both her legs in the same layer, which is probably a mistake, but I'm not going to fix it. So I apologize, future self, but I don't think it really needs to be fixed. I think it'll be fine. Okay. And then I'll just get rid of the excess on the body layer. It was necessary while I was figuring out the pose, but now the pose is here, and her legs are now socks, so I don't need that skin layer. Her socks are opaque enough that I don't need anything behind them. And I might make her hips a little bit wider too, like... Yeah, those are some pretty exaggerated hips, so I'll probably do something with that too. But I wanted to start today figuring out legs and hands. That was my goal for a first thing here. And I am well on my way to at least getting the legs here. I might need to adjust the perspective on the bottom a little. I don't know yet. Just to make them look like they're coming forward a little bit more. And another thing I'm going to do, I think, is... I guess I can do that now. But I'm going to, like, put my brush opacity at, like, 50%, grab the shadow color, and fill in just all of this area. And then, over under the skirt there, we'll have proper shadows. But with any luck, that'll also make it look like the leg is coming forward a little bit more. And we'll maybe make the legs look a little longer. Maybe. And I'll probably have to adjust the fold of the skirt there. I like what I've got going there. I think that's also pushing the leg forward, and I think that'll be great once I actually kind of finish detailing it. But it is not yet time, so I'm not going to. And I really don't want to make her thighs too thick, but it's really, really hard. I'm still just looking at this, and I'm like, okay, how did you get her hips so wide, but her thighs so skinny? Every time I look at this, I'm just like, this is black magic here. Okay, well, let's see if I can push her hips out just a little bit further here. Oh, wait, no, this part should definitely be symmetrical, though, so gotta back it up. Okay. Every time I do this, I just feel so uncomfortable. I feel like I'm doing everything wrong, but it's okay. It's a good exercise. Okay, I think that the widest point should actually be a little bit lower than this. So I should go back down and fix that. Keeping everything nice and zoomed out so that this way I can double check my work easily. So I think the widest point should be like right about there. Yeah, we're like right below that first strap. And then I should make that little strap thingy coming out of the sock there also more perspective-y if I'm going to embrace the perspective-iness. Okay, this seems all right. So let me get kind of the start of the skirt here, and I will perspective the heck out of that. Let's see. Yeah, I think I got it about right. So, I wanted to really go back. Gotta make it nice and round. Looks like there's like a slight... Yeah, it does go slightly forward. So I want to respect that as well. So I'll just deal with some of the skirt asymmetry for just a second here. And then back to leg. Like I said in the title, there are only legs here. Okay, it looks like the skirt is pretty flat all the way around. It looks like maybe it raises slightly on the outer edges, but not much. And even that might just be... I don't know, the way the artist drew it to make the skirt feel a little bit more interesting to look at. But I'll go ahead and keep it like that. I think I can do that for just a little bit of extra movement here. So something like that. Her other leg is missing right now. Don't worry about it. Soon. It'll come back soon. Okay, so let's get some perspective on the sock here. So that is gonna like roll around like this. We're gonna make it ultra round. And that's about all I need to do. And I'll make it ultra round on this part as well. Also, let it cover the part of the thigh that I expanded there. There we go. So that looks a little bit more perspective-y now. In theory. Okay, so let's see if I can embrace how skinny they are. And how wide that thigh gap is. I don't think I can get them quite that skinny. Like, with the proportions I have in her torso. Like, her torso is a bit wider than the official art on mine, and I don't think I want to attempt to make it skinnier or shorter. I think it's fine like this. Hello there, comic. Or, no, Felian. Hello there, Felian. Welcome. Okay. I think that looks pretty okay. Let me remember how knees work. Okay, so I want this to kind of roll back a bit. Oh, do I not have this color selected? I don't. So I think her leg is tilted slightly this way, so I'll put the cap of the knee a little bit off center there. There we go, and there we go. Okay. I'm gonna put her back foot a little higher up. I will adjust the people in the back accordingly when the time comes, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do there yet. Okay. Okay. I'm doing more perspective shenanigans with socks here. I'm gonna make that a little pointier. Oh no. It's okay. Spelling is overrated. Pelaine is a perfectly fine name. Alright, now for the fun time of figuring out how to taper this into ankles while still keeping it looking very perspective. But I think it's going alright. I'll just make the calves a little bit bigger than I otherwise would. We will let Kronii be strong. Alright, yeah, there we go. I think that's pretty alright. Maybe I want the muscly part just a slightly higher, but the shape is good, so I'm just gonna liquefy it up. There we go. Okay, I think I can be happy with that. That looks pretty okay. I think. I mean, I'll see how I feel in like 5 minutes. I'll go get this other leg going, and then I'll go work on her hands while I just look away from it for a little while. Pretty good. I got to do some stuff with my husband this morning, and then I did my Inktober speed paint. Those tend to be a little bit on the stressful side, but now I'm here, and I get to draw things, so today is a good day. And I really do like the way that this drawing is coming out. I am maybe having a little bit of trouble matching some of the proportions here, because, like, her legs are very, very long, and there's many a meme about her legs, so I couldn't make them too short. But I'm not used to drawing legs quite this long, and even this feels like it might be a little bit short. So but it's okay. I think I can keep it here, and I think that the perspective that I plopped on there is helping me out. So I think I can be happy. So I'll just let this leg kind of go into the background. Make it really narrow at the bottom there. And hopefully that will give the impression that I want. Where it's just going behind her other leg. I see. Well, I don't do karaoke, I do art. But I hope you will enjoy the art nonetheless. Okay, and with that gap in her thighs there, I should actually fill in the cape here. There we go. I think that the split in that probably goes away somewhere around here. And I think I have the cape long enough. It might be a little short. No, I think it's fine. It's like maybe it's a little short, but I don't think it looks bad. And I don't think it looks off, so I think I'm okay leaving it like this. Another case of we'll see how I feel about it in 5 minutes. Okay, if I want to sell the perspective here, I do gotta make the top of the thigh here thicker. Well, I don't think you have to draw to enjoy seeing the process of making art. That said, I encourage anyone that wants to learn how to draw to do so. It's very worth. But even if you don't want to learn how to draw, there's probably some other creative thing out there for you. So, I always encourage people to find that too, even if it's not necessarily drawing. Oh yes, I imagine October would be filled with horror games right now. I don't know. Should I let the leg come out like this? No, I definitely like it more here, but do I show any leg coming through here? Maybe I should. Maybe I should not be lazy and actually put this on another layer. Oh yeah, singing is definitely a wonderfully creative hobby. Okay, so I'm gonna reorder my layers a little bit here. Alright. So let's see if I want to do something with this back leg. I don't know if I do yet or not, but maybe I do. Actually, that looks pretty good. Okay, the answer is I do. I'm not quite sure what this leg is doing, but you know, it's okay. I don't have to know. I think it looks okay. Gonna go look at her skirt one more time. It's I think I want it to be a little bit wider up here. Just coming off the leg just a little bit there. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Do her legs still feel too short? That is the question for me right now. So let's see, they start about here. That does make them more than half the length of her body. So I think I'm probably good. Well, I'm glad. So I hope you enjoy your karaoke stream, and thanks for stopping by. You can stay as long as you like, but I understand that if you like singing, it is nice to watch other people sing too. Okay. Let's see here. Alright, I think that's a decent spot to leave the legs for now because, I don't know, they feel like they're a pretty decent length now, maybe? Another case of, I think I need to look away for 5 minutes, so let's go draw a hand. Today, I came prepared and took a picture of my hand so that this way I would not draw the hands backwards this time and it would hopefully flail a little bit less. I just need to find my arm layer. There it is. Okay. Okay. So I'm grab my picture here. Not gonna bring this one up on screen because it is actually of my hand, but it'll be useful for me. Okay. Honestly, just being able to look at what the thumb does is immensely helpful. Ah, I see. I imagine that'd be pretty normal for it to be a different language if you're watching VTubers, but just because so many of them enjoy singing in Japanese. I'm gonna hide back the clock here. There we go. I can just see the black a little bit more clearly on this color. Alright. Alright, let's... So So when I look at this, I see that there's a little bit more of a straight on the wrist here. Yeah, there's like a muscle coming out from... Man, I really need to get a stand for my phone or something. Alright, but yeah, so there's like the big muscle on the palm of the hand here. And then that means that there's like a little muscle coming down here too. And that is making the path here, or the edge here, a rather straight as opposed to quite as bendy as I was wanting to make it. And my phone will not stay on. You can tell I never use it for, like, anything. Alright, let me get rid of this. My reference isn't exactly identical, but it is close enough, and it's helping me with the part that I was having the most trouble with, which is the thumb. So there's, like... I'm actually just gonna put the entire thumb in shadow for a moment while I figure out the fleshy part near it. So it looks like because only the tip of the thumb is seen, it should actually be like all the way up here. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Wouldn't want to be bored. So let's see, probably right around there. Then we got the fleshy part coming up here. And let's see, I think her fingers are mostly looking okay. I don't mind them being quite like that, but I think I'm gonna do something a little weird, and I actually want to rotate the tips just a little. This is one of those things that I'm not sure makes sense in reality, but I think it'll add a little bit more of it, like a proper energy to the fingers here. It'll also make them look a little broken, so I gotta be careful with this. It is perhaps dangerous technology. And let's see, in my reference, the ring finger is actually almost completely covered up by the pinky. Yeah, almost completely. So I should raise the pinky up a little bit. I'm always happy to have transform tools. They make life so much easier. All right. And I guess I'll raise up the index finger. I was initially planning on having it straight just because that's what my hand did initially, but I think it might look a little weird, so maybe I should just do it like this. Yeah, I think that probably works a little better. Well, I did make the model talking to you right now, but that's like... Well, the model talking to you right now and all of my overlays and stuff. So, I have animated them a little bit, but I'm not a super experienced animator or anything. I would like to learn more at some point, I just haven't really had a chance. And with this month being Inktober, it's like I am already having a time catching up with that. Oh, nice! What kind of things do you like to make? Alright, let's try to get some of this a little bit more proportionate relative to itself. And I'll go from there. And actually, I guess speaking of, even besides the things that you like to animate, what kinds of things do you like to sing? I see. Nice. Sounds like fun. Fair enough. It's okay, as long as you're having fun. Sounds like a good time. Did I make the palm too short again? I think I might have. I think I might have, but you know, I can actually fix that like this. I can just extend it out this way, and it might work out for me. I'll go ahead and lock the layer for a moment just so I can make the thumb a bit lighter. Oh yeah, that kind of thing does sound pretty hard. It's like... For what I did, I didn't do that much body movement. You can kind of see my arms wiggle a little bit. Yeah. Okay, let's try to get the thumb now. I think it should turn a little bit more here. Well, maybe not. I don't know, man. Let's see. What is my thumb doing in my reference here? A little bit less smooth right there, I think. And please stop trying to go to sleep, phone. I should probably find the setting to adjust that, but I cannot be bothered right now. So I'll just complain instead. It's fine. I'd really like to make myself a new model and new overlays at some point, but... Oh, well, thank you. I just haven't had a chance to make some new stuff. I've been studying how face tracking works, so I think I could make a model that tracks me a little bit better at this point. I just haven't really had a chance to actually go out and do that. I figured maybe I'd do it for some subscriber milestone celebration or something, because then I can be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this as a reward. Alright, let's try to get the fingers looking a little bit nicer now. The thumb I think is small, but... Ah, I see. Unfortunately, the profile pictures are a bit too small for me to really be able to see during stream. So I can't really get a good look at it. Alright, and then my reference does something like that. I want to make this pinky a little bit thinner. Hello there, Stray. Welcome. Well, thank you for looking. I feel like you need both sides of the equation for things to work out. Because it is definitely more fun for me when people come by. Okay, so I think that's doing a little bit better, so I'm gonna try to shape these fingers a little bit better now. I don't know, they still just look really sausagey to me. Oh, what'd you paint today? Well, fair enough. Hey, nothing wrong with painting random stuff. I'm not gonna worry about cleaning this up too much because I already know the hands are like way too small. I'm just trying to get everything proportionate relative to everything else in the hand for now. I like handling as a few things all at once as possible, so it makes it a little bit easier to understand. And I made some adjustments so that this way the pinky would cover most of the ring finger, but that's not really happening anymore, but no, well, I think it's fine. You know, most of the time I don't have that much trouble drawing hands anymore, but this one is giving me some trouble. It happens. Hands are very complicated. Lots of little things all working together to make them look right. So that's why today my goal was figure out what the heck to do with her legs, so that this way they are still sufficiently Kronii without having the proportions of her model drive me crazy. Like, I mean, look at that. Oh, no, I don't mind adding texture. It's all good. I mean, you can see I've got a few things going here, so... Yeah. I think I got them where I want them. I think they're probably good. But I'm looking away from them for a second, so I'm just gonna get the hands done. My goal for today, I wanted to get the legs right and the hands right. And maybe, if I'm feeling really ambitious, get her sleeves in. Whoa. I should be able to. But, yes, I kind of want to finish all of the basics of the character here, so that this way I can go in and finally render the face. I just don't like to do that until I have all my proportions down. And I like the way things are going, because if I don't, I often end up having to adjust the size of the head a little bit, and transform tools make everything blurry, so it means I kind of have to repaint things again, and it's all kinds of terrible, so I just like to try to get them right before I do all these things. Alright, have fun. Enjoy your food. I guess her fingers are going to be a little bit more separated. I think that's okay, though. Maybe not quite what I had in mind initially, but I think it works, so I'm not worried about it. I just kind of want the top joint of this finger to tilt back a little bit more. There we go. Man, something about them just feels so noodly to me. Anyway, I do think that these fingers are a bit long, so I'm gonna go squish them back down. Get them closer to the length of the pinky. And go from there. At some point, I believe in myself. I'll be able to make sense of what I'm trying to do here. So sometimes it just takes me a moment of flailing for me to actually, like, understand. Pinky's maybe twisted a bit strangely. Maybe that's what's bothering me. I don't know. Yeah, it's like this one's a little bit too straight. A little bit too thin. Okay. Time to put this one back in black so that this way I can, hopefully, thicken this finger in a way that makes me happy. I don't know, man. Maybe I should just start over. Okay. I'm just gonna move this to a different layer and hide it. So it's not dead, it's just hiding for now, and I'll see if I can just do it better if I just start again. Because at this point, I feel like I'm just getting way too deep into editing, and nothing I do is working. So I'll look at the reference image that I took of my hand a little bit more closely here, and see what I can figure out. Okay, no, I don't want to draw the finger yet. I just want to get the palm in there. Typically, what I do is I just kind of make a shovel and then put fingers on it. But, sometimes that doesn't work at all angles. What do you do? So I'm just trying to figure out my shovel here. Let's see, just to make things easy for myself, I'm gonna make the palm part dark. Or maybe I should make the side part dark. No, I'll make the palm part dark. And hope that that helps me understand the perspective a little bit. Okay. Yeah, so same idea. I'm just trying to figure out where things sit here. So I'm just going to be looking down at a reference that I have next to me here, and I'll just start getting that in. I can copy the shapes here pretty easily, I think. I just need to find the correct thickness. And I guess while I'm here, maybe I should be making more of an effort to make it proportionate. Effort. I'll do that later. Yeah, I got a little bit of, like, a foreshortening and overlapping going on here. So I'm having a little bit more trouble than usual, kind of making sense of it all. Like, I mean, if I'm just drawing a hand from the front, then, like, yay, it's super simple. It just, you do the things. But, this is over on the side. And I do think that the hand pose definitely needs to be kind of from the side here. I don't think it would work nearly as well if I did it from the front. Alright, so I'll get the first finger in there, and I will probably draw the rest on a couple of layers separately. So I got, like, fingertip there, and then it's gonna just kind of cover everything, and I don't know, maybe I should draw some fingernails just as a temporary measure, just to help me understand. But yes, it's doing this. Yeah, I think I will. I was avoiding doing that before because she's wearing gloves, and gloves will not have fingernails. So I wasn't doing that, but I do think that maybe including them will just help me see how they're twisting a little bit better. Most of the time I do draw fingernails pretty early on for that reason. But I swear, it has been a while since I've struggled this hard on hands. Most of the time, they just kind of come together. But something about the angle here was just messing with my head. And my phone does not approve of me constantly tapping the screen to stop it from going to sleep. And now it's all in weird... doing weird things, and it needs to stop. Okay, there we go. But the reference is very helpful. Look, technology is technology. It does what it wants sometimes. That's alright, nothing that the microwave can't fix. I want to get this finger looking the way that I think is going to be good before I do any of the others, because it's kind of gonna set the stage for all the others. So I want to make sure that I am happy with it before I move on. But I think it is getting there. This looks much more like a nice finger and much less like a sausage than my last attempts did. So I will take it. Okay. Well, there's no point in getting it smooth because I already know I'm going to have to make this much bigger. And now it is time to bring on the neon. So I'm going to start with my neon pink while I try to get the silhouette of this next finger good. So in my reference, the next finger was pretty much completely covered by the pinky, but it did come a little bit out the back, actually, like this. So I will draw this one like that. I will draw it accordingly. I will once again still put a nail on it that I will erase later just so I can kind of understand it. Make my life a little bit easier that way. I wouldn't know. I haven't seen that movie. I am so media illiterate, you wouldn't believe it. Well, I guess calling it media illiteracy is wrong, because that means something else, but I have not watched anything for, like, a decade, so... Alright, let's get the next one. I think that's fine for what it is. So this one in my reference is doing something kind of like this. I see it on the side here. Quite a bit of it, actually. And then we got shape kind of like this. Let's see, does it go behind the ring finger? Let me look a little bit more closely here. No. But with the way I drew it, I think it kind of has to. Because I drew it slightly different for the reference. It's okay. I had trouble with spelling for a long time. I still remember what got me better at it. And that was, I was talking to people on the ancient technology known as IRC. And IRC has no spell check. So I didn't want to constantly look like an illiterate fool while I was talking, so I learned how to spell words better. It is a very old chat program. But we're talking like chat programs from the 80s here. When the internet was new and shiny. Before it really became mainstream. But I wasn't using it back then, but because only like people that did extreme IT stuff was using the internet in the 80s. It didn't really get big until the kind of late 90s, but yes. I still do remember Ask Jeeves. Back when search engines were actually useful. And people had not learned about SEO yet. I don't. I hate junk mail. Junk mail's the worst. Well, I mean, it was AI back then, too. It was just a different brand of it, and... But no, what really killed Google was search engine optimization. Because now it's just a bunch of slop that just happens to have the right keywords. Alright. Time for the last finger. Oh no, I have 2 fingers. That's right, I forgot about the thumb. Yes, the thumb is important too. That's what lets you hold stuff. Okay, and this one I do not actually see the fingernail, so I won't draw it. Okay, this should be fine. I think this is looking pretty okay. So once I get all the colors correct, hopefully it'll all be good. Just don't worry, things will not be staying at neon pink and yellow forever. Someday, it'll go back to being the black of her gloves. But I just need the bright colors in order to help me see what I'm doing. Alright, let's figure out a thumb. So we got like the fleshy part sticking out here like this. And then... how does that work? I think I can just send it out this way. roll it like this. Yeah, that's not the right angle, but it's the right idea, so let's try to get the angle correct now. This is such a weird angle. I would have never guessed that this is what my thumb naturally does in this pose. So I'm glad I decided to take a picture. Because I was trying to do all kinds of things, and I could not get the thumb to look right. And then the nail is just going to be sitting kind of behind it, so it'll be like this. Where we see some fleshy parts on both sides. Alright, let's go shave off the thumbnail now because I don't need it. She is wearing gloves. Yeah, I mean, then look at your hand. Some parts of it are super meaty. And then some parts of it, like in the fingers, are super bony. So you gotta get those fleshy parts in there. And no, sounds like a waste of time. I got better things to do. Alright, I still don't feel like I have the angle on this side right, so let's work really hard and just get this shaped the way I want. Because I think the thumb is gonna do a lot to make the pose work. Okay. So I think something like that's probably fine. Let's go ahead and start colorizing this. Hello there, Tito, and thank you. Okay. So let's start getting these colors right. I'm gonna start by painting them with the shadow color, and then I will paint over it with the lighter color. That makes it a little bit easier for me to manage. I feel like there's less guesswork. And before I merge all the layers together, I'm actually gonna go through and like get rid of the fingernails that I was using to help me figure out what the heck I was doing. The thumb I might actually just keep completely in shadow, but I'll go ahead and do it like this for now. Alright, let's grab the palm here. So I think I'll keep a little shadow here, but this part will be mostly in light. I will light the fingers like that. The thumb still looks terrible, but everything else, I think I'm good. They look pretty good. So let's revisit the thumb. What do I want to do to fix you? Let's break out the reference again. So this will be in reference we trust. I am going to try not to think too hard, and I am just going to copy what I see. That is also dangerous technology, by the way, but I think it's what I gotta do here. Because if I start thinking too hard, my brain's gonna start taking shortcuts. And once I get the basics down, then I think I can construct it a little bit better. But so far, I think this looks okay. I just gotta get that thumb. And I'm not too worried about how it connects to the arm, really, because it's going to be covered up by sleeve. She has really, really big sleeves. But I need to get enough of it down to make sure that I know all these things are in the right place. Gotta make sure everything is connecting as it should. And yes, in my reference, it does look this broken. I am still just so surprised that this is what my thumb does. But it is, in fact, a photo of my hand, so I can believe in it. I can believe. Maybe I should still be painting in neon. Let me get the neon back. It is not yet time. I will shade it properly momentarily. I'm not really a fan of Pokemon. So no, I haven't. It's just one of those things. I never really got into it. Not even when I was a mere tiny human. Yeah, sounds on brand for Pokemon, yeah. Yeah. I would imagine so. It does seem like that they ran out of ideas a long time ago, but keep the franchise alive because it makes money. Like, lots of money. It's really no wonder Nintendo's suing Pal World. Pal World actually did something interesting. It's okay. She doesn't need huge thumbs. She just needs thumbs that are going the right direction, and for whatever reason, I cannot get the angles correct. And so everything just ends up looking weird, so I'm trying to get those angles right. That's why I'm taking my sweet time and really looking at my reference. But it just don't want to bend right, because I want to, like, put certain fleshy parts in certain areas, but the fleshy parts do not show properly at this angle. It is more directly facing the viewer, and such things throw me off hardcore. That's why I don't normally draw fingers at that kind of angle. I see. Alright, so let's see. I'm getting close. I'm getting there. I still keep wanting to add more fleshy parts than I should, so I gotta stop that. And then this bottom side comes out just a little bit more. I hate that I'm holding the phone in one hand, so I cannot just have my fingers on Control Z. Life is hard, but it's for the best. Okay, and down here like this. Let it stick out. Alright. Yeah, I guess I'll use the little thingies up there too. This still looks like it's rotated funny. It's just weird because, like, part of it is coming out from behind the hand, but part of it is not, and it's all foreshortened, and it is confusing my brain like you wouldn't believe. So, alright, I'm just gonna go back to trying to be full brain-dead copy mode. I will be the ultimate copy machine for a few minutes. Okay. So I think I gotta get this part colored properly in order to understand it, because this part is, like, still fleshy, and then this part is, like, all in shadow, and I gotta connect these two pieces in order to make this look right, I think. Yes. Don't worry, I won't give up. I think I've almost got it. At the very least, I think I'm starting to understand. Okay. So I'm gonna go back and forth between these two layers for a second and try to get the super fleshy part of the hand all making sense. Put a little fold there. Okay, so far so good. And indeed, my reference does have this kind of weird clip there. And I think that's fine. I don't know, do I want to put a light on the thumb for now? Unironically, no. I think I'm just gonna leave the entire thing black. We good? I think we're good. I do not feel ready to merge this yet. I'm going to make it properly sized, and then I'm going to go back to looking at the legs. And look away from this for a little bit. So I'm sizing it relative to her face. On girls, their hands are generally big enough to cover, you know, less than half their face. Like, it can cover their eyes down to their chin, roughly. So I'm kind of sizing it based on that. I think that's about right. I'm not going to worry about connecting it to the wrist. And I'm not going to duplicate the layers. I just want to... Okay, I'm going to worry about connecting it to the wrist a little bit, just because I will not be able to see whether or not this looks right without that. I changed my mind. I zoomed out and I'm just like, man, I will not be able to tell unless I do this. Let me look at my reference one more time. I'm not sure if that pinky is correct. It's all good, actually. Okay. I think what I need to change is this guy here. I see, like, a very significant fold in the hand just through there. At some point, I might just go back and make this more like glove folds. That'll probably make more sense to me, but I kind of want to see if things are looking okay before I get into all that. So let's go back to her legs. Do I still like them? Yes. Yes, I do. Okay. Excellent. So, I'm going to make her skirt wrap around her legs better here. And this will give me a small reprise from dealing with side view hands. Okay. I just want it... I want it to come a little bit more forward on this leg. More like it's like sitting on it. And at some point I'll like... I guess I can do it now. Put a little fold like right here. This kind of shape. And there'll probably be some folds coming out here. Just because this is like super freaking tight. So there's got to be lots of little folds happening. Probably... this isn't a fold. The skirt just does that. And I'll plop some right there. Get some of these kinds of shapes all in there. And at some point, I will need to go back over this and add, like, the little lines that exist. So it has some kind of horizontal lines going across it, but that will be for a little bit later, when I am happy with the overall structure. Definitely got to do structure before details. Otherwise, your details will be floating on nothing, and they will look terrible. This still doesn't really feel like it's wrapping around her leg, so I want to get that in there. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. So let me just make the folds here a little bit more extreme. And that should help sell the perspective too. Okay, so something like that. All right. And then I'll just add a few at the top there. The bottom, I think I'm fine with leaving like that. And let's see. Still not quite satisfied with this. Still not quite satisfied. And as long as I'm not, I should go back and work it just a little bit more. Yes. Yes. Okay. So I think that's pretty okay here, and... let's see, I don't really want to go draw the rest of the hand just yet, so I'll get started on the sleeves. I know where the hand is, and I do think that looking at the size relative to everything, the length of her arms look okay, the size of her hands look okay. So I think this is an okay time to do sleeves. Okay. I am actually just going to clear the entire thing after I get the colors. So, oop. All right. I didn't like anything that I had drawn there, so that's fine. And actually looking at it, do I even have the right color? I do. Excellent. Okay. So I have this symmetrical, so I'm going to draw the sleeves on this side. So let's see, where do they start wrapping around her arm here? So it looks like the cuff is like right about here. I have my symmetry tool on because I want to keep this super symmetrical. It gives it more of that vaguely religious feeling. Still very much what I'm going for here, so... And I want to make sure that it wraps nicely. I don't actually think that the entire thing will be going around her arm like this. It does look like it cuts off at the top there. I think the sleeve itself goes all the way around though, so that'll be fine. I can just put this weird metal part on top. And I just want to get that wrapping around very, very convincing because it'll make her arms look rounder. So since this is supposed to look like stained glass eventually, I'm not too worried about making things look three-dimensional. Stained glass does tend to have a very flat aesthetic. But nonetheless, I still want this to look like a person, and people have round arms. They are not flat or paper thin. So I really want to get that wrapping around there. And I just want to do that now. This way I don't have to worry about it when it comes time to clean up. I am looking out for my future self today. Okay, I think that should be good. Alright, now time to add random triangles. Here we go. What do I do here? I'm just thinking about where it kind of connects here, and I think her elbow is going to be like right here, so I think this fold is just above it. So I think this probably goes down to about here, which I will once again try to get that to wrap around. And it does wrap around that way, right? Or does it go that way? That might be why I was having such a hard time wrapping it around there. Does it go the other way? I always get this backwards. Curse you, dyslexia. Okay, I wish to try, so... Oh, and I'm drawing on the wrong layer anyway. What am I doing? There. It is now the correct layer. I have just renamed them. Okay. So, this is gonna look like I'm erasing what I have, but I just want to do some test. Yep, that's exactly why I was having trouble getting it to wrap around. That looks 100 times better. Really, it goes that way and not that way. My brain is still surprised. But yeah, that looks better, so... Okay. The direction that this kind of wrapping happens is actually quite important. Otherwise, it'll look like it's falling off the arm. And that would indeed explain why I couldn't get it to look right, so there we go. Okay. So I think that the other part is down here. Wraps around like this. And so that will have the little fold right here, and then the big diamond thingy will come out the top. And just drop down like this. Let's see, I guess I have to put her arms below her body here in order to get things to line up properly, because otherwise that diamond thing will sit on top of her chest, and that is just not how it looks. So there we go. So something like this. And then I want to double check to make sure that I have the direction of the sleeve going the right way again. Does it go that way? Nope, it definitely goes that way. Okay. I will believe. Just maybe not that strongly. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this in a non-rambly manner. But, it's like, I don't know, just look at someone's sleeves at some point, and especially if they're short sleeves, and get a feel for when you see the inside and when you don't. And that'll give you some idea of when it curves. And like, if I were to make this short sleeve shirt or something and like just extend the sleeve like this, indeed, I do think that we'd see the inside of it. So that makes sense to me. Okay, and I also kind of have to care about where the arm is going here, because you can see a little tiny gap right there. The top part of this I want to be nice and tight on there, and then expand out into the diamond. Okay. There we go. I feel like it's still curving a little bit strongly, so I'm going to tone it down just a little. Make this point where it connects here a little bit flatter. Okay, and I'm not going to clean it up just yet. So let's go on to the next part. So that'll be this part, and it looks like... I think I've said this before, but there's no way her hand is this long. I hope. That would be one hell of a long palm relative to the fingers. So I think this connects like above the wrist. So probably somewhere around here. What, do you like really, really, really long hands? Okay, and then the diamond part, I think that will connect like right about here. This one's a lot narrower than the one on the other side, so... yeah. Look, man. We already got these legs. She can't have that much more messed up joints. And she probably has severe back pain, too. I'm just saying. Between, you know, barely having a spine and having a chest like that. It's okay, it's anime. You can do whatever you want. That is like the universal truth of anime. Exaggerate whatever you want. You can probably make it work if you try hard enough. Okay, let's get that shape in there, and I think it's something like that. Let me get her back in frame again here. Actually, it's not that strong. The sleeve is just a little bit looser at the bottom. There we go. But something like that, I think will work, and then I can add the other colors. Just because that will help me show where the top and the bottom is. Okay, so I think that's sufficiently clean for now, so let's get this lighter color in. They're kind of sitting at the bottom here. How does this work? What's your side view like? Yeah, I think it just goes straight across. Okay. I mean, One Piece is at the pretty extreme end of do what you want. But indeed, you can make it work if it's what you want. Okay, and then there's going to be a light spot running down the side here. Because that will be where the blue trim goes. And I don't quite like the angle I've got going here. Okay, and then the bottom part here. No, this is a little bit different. I think it's a little easier to see in the side view. Okay, no, it is still on the bottom. Just doesn't look like it on the other views, but no, the unshaded version. Rude. But yes, the unshaded portion does show that the lighter color is a little bit at the bottom there. And then it'll go to this especially... Oh no, it's not an especially light part. It's the same as... No, it's lighter. It's lighter, definitely. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna add this bit on a separate layer. I might need the hand for this. But no, it doesn't actually look like it covers the hand. Like, the frilly part underneath clearly does. But just looking at this, I don't think... Like, I think it might barely touch it. Okay. So I will call you Cuff. And I will figure out how to... get that right momentarily. Let's see, what does it actually look like? Yeah, so... Looks like the open part is sitting at... yes. It's all very interesting. Okay, so her hand is twisted a little bit here. This will probably be a little bit more accurate. So this will be like the palm, this is the back. So it is... Yes, I do think it would make for an excellent ramp. It can do a sick jump off of her backside there. Okay. So I think that it opens up on this side. So I guess I'll draw it like this. This is not nearly long enough, but it's a start. I need the hand to draw this. I can't draw it without checking the proportions against the hand. Okay. Yeah, that's easier. I at least know the hand size. And I'm still hopeful that I can maybe get away with covering up part of the hands with some of this stuff, so... So I'll do it like that. I think that works. And the trim I will add later. We don't need extra blue color on here confusing me right now. This is fine for the time being. But I will get the curve. I will get that curve going. Make sure it's wrapping around this part of her arm as it should. I'm just looking at this and I'm just like, man, I want to render the face already. Why do I have to be good? Alright. So now I'll get that weird frilly thing sitting on her hand there. Well, okay. Let me see. What is the frilly thing? Yeah, it looks like it just wraps all the way around, so I can just... I don't know. Draw a weird frilly thing covering her hand. Oh man, it does look like it's gonna cover part of the thumb. Oh, isn't that fantastic? I'm not even gonna draw the frills on the weird frilly thing yet. It's just gonna look like this. Still can't get over the fact that she has a heart brooch right there. I realized the character was probably designed before she was picked, but it still amuses me. Alright, so I think that's about all I gotta do for the sleeve for the time being. We're looking good? I think so. Yeah, so I got a bunch of other details I can draw when I feel like it, and that is not right now. But I think that is sufficient detail for the time being. So I think I can actually go and revisit the hand. And by the way, the reason that I'm not drawing it symmetrically is because I wanted to be able to use transform tools in order to get it to look right. And that doesn't work with the symmetry tool, so I'm just drawing it on one side and then I'm going to flip it over to the other side when the time comes. But yeah, especially with half of it covered up by sleeve, hands are looking good. Because now I don't have to worry about, like, the palm and stuff. All the stuff that was giving me trouble. So, cool. I'll take it. Where did I draw the hand anyway? I'm gonna merge all the layers together. I am Planckera, and I am the Big Bang. I make things. And I think everyone can make universes if they try hard enough. Alright, now with all this merged together, let's get rid of those unnecessary nails. I couldn't quite catch that. I can only phantom the dress designer of is model. But yeah, I still think that the guy that drew this is definitely capable of black magic, because I don't think her model looks too bad. But the proportions are definitely very, very exaggerated. And I draw things maybe a little bit more proportionately than the average anime artist, just because I started out with realism, and so I got used to those proportions. I am trying to exaggerate some more in certain places, just because I do think it leads to more interesting character design. So I am trying to learn a little bit more about that myself. Oh yeah. pretty much any anime girl is going to have a complicated dress. Anime character designers do like their details. Alright, let's shade the fingers a little. I don't want to get, like, cast shadows or anything yet, but I just want to make sure that the fingers themselves are all looking fine. And then I will mirror it over. Let's see, I don't quite like this index finger, so let's make them just a little tiny bit shorter. Round these guys just a little bit more. For this one's looking maybe a little bit too fleshy, so I'm kind of thinning it just a little there. That's a little bit too much, but the idea is solid. Just need to get it a little bit more triangular. Kronii is, like, super triangular in every way, so gotta get those triangles in there while I can. Also, it's generally useful for fingers. Okay. So I don't really want to do all the cleaning for this right now, so I'm just gonna move over what I have, and I will be cleaning her arms before I clean the hands. So I'm just gonna copy this, layer, transform, mirror, layer horizontally, and ta-da, I have 2 hands now. Yay! Nice and easy. Okay, the joy of completely symmetrical pictures, or almost. Am I happy with a level of detail I have right now? Can I just go render the face and worry about the rest of everything later? Well, more accurately, I'd render the hair first, but close enough. I don't know, you can call me what you want. As long as you're not deliberately being mean, it's fine. But if you just want something, then the end is probably fine. Just like Ouro or something. Okay, yes. I do think that things are looking good, so I'm gonna render some hair. It is. Triangles are great. Okay, let's go back to getting basic stuff about the face ready. I want some shadows under here. Now I have to decide. Do I put shadows over her eyes and make her look a little suspicious? Maybe. Might actually be appropriate here. So, do I do it like this? I'm gonna go back and forth. No, I think it works better without here. Okay. Yes. But no, in this case, I think it's actually a little bit... I don't know, I think it has a little bit more of that grandness without that vague feeling that she might destroy you at any moment. She doesn't need to show it off, it's fine. Okay, and I will also get a little bit of shadow on the headband here because I haven't done that yet. I don't know. Black works for me, if you want to go with that. I am not picky. Whatever makes you happy. That's what I say, as long as you're not deliberately trying to be mean, it's all good. And I will just put a few little shadows in here. How do chain links work? Which way do they overlap? Okay, so this one's on top. There. And then this one will be underneath. Unfortunately, I drew it like this, so I'm gonna have to, like, think in order to make this right, but I can do that. I can think. A brain is a terrible thing to waste. I just kind of got to wrap my head around this. Here we go. Sometimes it takes me a moment. That is a wonderful typo. Look, this is where dyslexia can be useful. Makes you say silly things. Okay, and then this will come around like this. Okay, are they holding hands now? Yes. Perfect. Okay. So I'm probably gonna want to change that color because now these are way too similar. In fact, I'm gonna do that, like, right now. I don't know what color I want you to be. I want you to be darker or lighter. Lighter, I think. Okay, that looks good. Alright, and I'll worry about the highlights later. I think I want to do the other parts of the hair first. I tend to like to work from front to back, because then I know which things will be overlapping other things, and I can not worry about it, and that's always fantastic. Alright. So now, it is time to go in and actually render stuff. So here we go. The fun part begins. Because now I have got the structure going, so I can trust what I have drawn, and I can just go in and start making it all look nice. Okay, so highlight up to here. I want to get all of this connecting nicely here. Oh, it's okay. I do not mind people chatting. Like I said, people coming by makes things more fun for me. It really does. Well, I'll take it. I'll take that as a compliment. It's true. It's true. If I didn't have people here, I would just be talking to myself like an insane person. Okay, and I think I like this light color against the chains of the headband a little bit better. So I'll use the light color there. And this is kind of where I decide all of the final things. So this is where I get things into their final state, and I do want to keep things pretty smooth, even though I will be adding lines on top of them later. It'll make things a little bit easier to manage. Or at least I think so. Do I want to draw the hairband now? I think I probably actually do. Okay. I will smooth that out perfectly. Actually, it's already pretty smooth, isn't it? Let me see. Yes, very bold. Look, it's not a Planckera drawing if I don't make the anime girl bald for at least a little while. You will know that I have been replaced by an imposter if the anime girl is not bald sometimes. Are you sure? Because, I mean, to me it looks like half her head is missing. Like there's no brain going here. There's no room here. Because I killed the back of her head. Okay, and then this side kind of coming out a little bit more like this. I will paint the shadows again in a little bit. So I want to get things especially smooth here because this is gonna be like a stained glass look. And a stained glass is very, very smooth. And I think getting it smooth now will help me out when it comes time to add all my silly little lines. Okay. So that should look pretty good. And by the way, yes, I do indeed do all of my line art adjacent stuff at the end. I don't do line art. But sometimes I add lines for aesthetic reasons. So they come last. Man, that's quite a fate that you're wishing on her. I guess as animes go, being in Speed Racer wouldn't be the worst. As long as you weren't in the dub and didn't have to listen to people talk like that all the time. Alright, and then it just left a little bit of a gap because the selections are weird like that sometimes. but I'll just fill it in manually a little. It's fine. Like swirls. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to. I have most of the background kind of decided here. I have a bunch of stuff to fix, and I haven't added what's going to go in these window-like things yet. But this is what I'm putting there. And I do want to add some more details to the big clock in the background, too. It's going to get hands and stuff. But I just haven't done it yet. So if that answers your question, great. If not, it's okay. If you have a different way to phrase it, I will gladly try again. It's okay. They might be a little bit less scary later, but I don't know. I wanted them to be at least a little intimidating. It seemed like her style. At least try to be a little bit intimidating. Let's see. Do I like that? I kind of do, actually. So I think I'll keep this random shadow I put in there. I'll go extend it out over here, too. And I think I will put it at the base of the hairband, too. I don't expect to be changing that much at this point, but, you know, a little bit when my hands get good ideas, you know, I'm gonna roll with it. Of course I will. Hands are smart sometimes. Sometimes they have excellent ideas, and my brain just has to spot them. I do want this part to be extremely straight, though. There should be no curvature in this. We are only triangles. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. They are. And I mean, I'm under the impression that when it comes to things like pretty much any form of computer graphics, but especially 3D, everything is triangles. Literally everything. Alright. And as always, I'm just gonna take my time rendering things. Get it all very smooth. Very, very, very smooth. And I don't think I'll do this with light parts, actually. I changed my mind. Okay. This is fine. And right now, I am near the face, so I am in full perfectionism mode. I just want to get things just right. Okay. But I think that's pretty good for that area. Alright, so now I want to get this line straight. At least mostly. Straight enough. I'm not going to use the line tool to get it perfectly straight. I think what I can do with my hand is sufficient. But I do want it to be quite straight, and I do think that this outer part is already quite straight, so that is excellent. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at her model again, and I want to see which part is on top, the antennae or this side strand. Antennae. Okay, so I have it right. Which should technically mean I don't want that dark spot there. Okay. I'm gonna change my mind then. I'm color it neutral, and then I'm gonna put the light part all the way down there. You know, I think I actually remember talking about this at one point that I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it like that. I have changed my mind. I am totally doing it like that. Oops, I didn't have the layer locked. I should definitely have the layer locked. Okay. That's fine. So we're gonna extend this highlight all the way down then. It's just gonna keep going. No, it's not gonna overlap the ear though. Very important. It's like I could have it overlap the ear if I wanted, but I want to keep lots of color separation for all this. I don't want lights to be overlapping lights, and I don't want darks to be overlapping darks. This is stained glass. I am not going for what makes sense lighting-wise. I am going for what makes cool shapes. The rules of light are maybe only being somewhat acknowledged when it's convenient. I don't know, what do you want to make? I mean, if you ask me, I say when in doubt, make a cool castle, because cool castles make everything better. Either that or outer space. Those are two things that make, like, literally everything better. Clearly, this is the weakness of Minecraft for me. It is not set in outer space. Just imagine building stuff, but in space. Ah, space castles are cool. Just remind me that I had an original character once, and through some twist of fate, I ended up having to make a childhood dream for her very, very fast. And she wanted to make a flying train in space. Mm-hmm. Definitely the best childhood dream I've ever conceived. It was very practical. More practical than I make it sound, but I just always like saying that this character, like, wanted to make a flying train in space. Actually, I don't want you to go that far down. I want you to stop, like, right there. Okay. That is a good shape. Alright, good luck. God, am I so glad for the symmetry tool, so I only have to draw half of this. Stained glass style always has a little bit more going for it than the average hair, and average anime hair already takes an eternity. So, here we go. On the bright side, Kronii has considerably less hair than the average anime girl. So, that's pretty cool. That's convenient for me, I'll take it. So I got this light part feeding into this light part. I think that works. I don't want things to get, like, too complicated here. Just because there is not actually that much hair to work with here. But I want enough there to be interesting to look at. And I guess I've decided to use this to help define the edge of this strand here. I approve, so I'll make it nice. And then at some point I'm going to be adding like gradients and stuff to all this, so we'll see how that works out. Looked pretty good last time I did it, so I think it'll be fine. I do want to do many more experiments with the style though. I think it'll be great. I really like it. It makes me happy. Okay. How do I want to do this? So I think I want this light part to go like right up against this dark part, but I want the dark part to be on against this white that I have in the back there. That should give me the separation I want. Yes. I approve. So let's get that really, really, really smooth here. And let's see here. I almost feel obligated to have a shadow, but I don't actually think I like it. So I'm going to do it like this, where I keep that little bit of shadow next to her head and then lighten this part up. It doesn't make sense lighting-wise, but it makes sense in terms of separating the shapes the way I want. So I will do it like this. Nope, this needs to go further down. So I guess it's gonna look like that. You know what? It makes it a little bit less of a curl, but it still looks pretty good to me, so I will keep it. And I can still make it a little bit of a curl if I want. I know exactly how to do it. So we'll just keep the shadow right there. And then I will add a light spot right on the tip. There we go. I think that is perfect. And man, I hear my son derping hard upstairs. Being 3 is wild. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So now let's get this shadow in there in a way that also looks good. And that should separate the colors very, very nicely. So I still have the nice dark spots by her skin, but I have the slightly lighter spot against the dark spot in the back there. And I even get to keep this little almost highlight thing separating these two strands. So I think that is wonderful too. Okay. Let's see. Now what do I want to do with some of the light and dark spots up here. I think I will keep a bit of a dark spot up next to the clock halo thing, so I'll add a dark right here. I'll do something like this. Again, less concerned with the sense making and more concerned with making the interesting shapes. And then I think where these strands are kind of separating out, I will also add another dark spot. I'll just let this entire area be dark for now, and I'll see how I want to change that later. Because right now I kind of feel like I have too much light going through there, and I don't like it. So I want to change things up a little. That's the important part, is it's not, oh hey, maybe I have too much stuff going on here, but it's that I don't like it. You can do what you want with anime girls, but if you don't like it, then it's like, what is even the point? Alright, then I had kind of another curl thing going on down here, and I like it, so I'm gonna keep it. I just gotta put all the things in place so it will have that effect. Look at that little spot curl. Looks so nice. There we go. And there we go. Nice, easy, and smooth. All right. I think I'll extend this part just a little bit higher. But I think otherwise that is sufficient. And I will also extend it a little bit lower here, like that. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. So I think I'm getting into the last bit of smoothing on the antenna hair here. Oh man, am I actually gonna, like, finish front hair in, like, a day, as opposed to having to spend 2 or 3 on it? That would be highly unusual. I will appreciate her relatively simple hair for now. Okay. Let's see, I think that looks pretty good. I think I like the pattern I've got going here, so I'll just leave it like that. So let's just make this nice, triangular and smooth. Alright. So now I'll smooth out the shadow parts here. Heck yeah. Told you, space makes everything better. Alright, there we go. I think that's pretty good. And then at some point I will add the lines. Do I want to do that now? I think I will do her front hair first. But before I do the front hair, I would like to do the chains here. So I will do her headband first. And I don't expect that to take that long, so it's pretty simple. I've already got things nice and smooth. So now I just got a little bit of shadows to put in there. Mars is a pretty cool planet. Oh, I don't have the layer locked. Oh, that's actually really bad. Okay, we're backing up. Okay. Okay. There we go. Now I got the layer locked. Whoops. Okay. But it's alright. All is well. I noticed quickly, so I was able to fix it quickly. And I want to keep the shading here somewhat rounded because the chains are somewhat round. And if I keep it too flat, it will look flat. So we add just a little bit of rounding here. And it makes sense. Because with the way shadows fall, if something is closer, the shadow will be a little bit closer to the object casting that shadow. And in this case, because the chains are round, the highest point will indeed be, like, literally closer to the thing casting the shadow. So I can even pretend like I care about my lighting making sense right now. Always nice. Okay. Did I get it all? I'm gonna go ahead and color the part in here just to make sure that I have sufficient contrast everywhere and that I can actually see what I'm doing. It does look like I missed a little spot right there when I was smoothing, but I think that looks pretty okay. And I think it is about ready for some highlights. So let's get some highlights in there. Okay. So we're gonna have a highlight up here. And I'm just doing this all in the same layer. I don't need a separate one. It's all good. And one over here. Gotta make them nice and shiny. Alright, let's smooth that out a little. It's a little bit blobby, and you know me, I don't like blobs. Oh, I got the wrong color. How did I do that? Oh, I still have my brush set to overlay. No wonder it looks bad. Okay, hold on. Backing up. Normal. Highlight. There. All is well. But yeah, that would do it. Having the wrong color would indeed, or having the brush set to overlay would indeed get you the wrong color. Gotta be careful. But I think that's all I'm gonna do for the headband here. I might add some gradients at the end, but for now, it'll just be like this. Although I guess the end is going to be coming soon just because this thing is so small. So there's not a lot of shade. So I'll go ahead and put my lines in. And that will actually be the end, so there we go. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just do the lines in its own group. Just to make my life a little bit easier, because then I can preserve alpha, and I'll probably do that with the hair too, so there'll be 2 hair line layers. That's fine. Okay, this pretty much has to be solid white in order to be visible, so here we go. This part always makes me a little nervous. Always does. So I want the lines kind of around the edge to be really, really thick. And then the ones in the middle to be much thinner. It's like, I guess I call these thick, but they're not that thick. It's all relative. Some of the other ones will probably end up much thicker than this, but they will be much thicker than the ones that I use for other parts of this. So here we go. Now things are going to start looking like stained glass. And I'll just go ahead and get this into a finished state right away. The only reason I didn't do it with the hair was because I wanted to do the entire hair together. So I want to get her front hair nice and smoothed as well. Okay, so now I'm going to get some of the thinner ones in here. That will be defining some shadow parts. And I will probably have to alter some of the shadows. That's pretty normal. Extremely normal, even. And it's always a little bit nerve-wracking. I mean, I do it all in separate layers, so it's not like I'd lose anything if I need to redo a part. But I do not draw lines often. I do not do line art. So it's always an adventure. And I'm not going to bother putting lines around the highlights for this one, just because they are too close to white. And I think they have to be. What would be cool? I could think of a lot of things that would be cool. Alright, let's go ahead and clean up those shadows a little. And then I will add the gradients where I think they're necessary. And oh man, yeah, that's getting somewhere. I think I might have made the outer ones a little bit too thin, so I'm gonna go ahead and make them a little bit thicker. But yes, I approve. I do want one here as well. Kind of defining the edge. And I missed one entirely right there. Whoops. Well, I mean, I do plan to add bowing humans at the bottom here. I just haven't drawn them yet. But they're there, and that's what these blobs are. I am going full divinity here. Oh, I wasn't sure how pseudo-religious I wanted to get with this one initially. But then I was just like, nah, screw it. Kronii gets to be Jesus today. I'll go ahead and feed her ego. It'll be fine. Alright, and I do have to adjust some of these shadow lines in order to compensate for the thicker outer line, but I do want that thicker outer line, so it's worth. For some of these things, it might actually be worth drawing the lines first. I will keep that in mind for future points of this painting. Alright. So how's that? Yes, I think that is perfect. Okay. This'll look better once I have more stuff that is gonna be, like, lit up and whatnot. But I just haven't lined anything yet, so it looks a little bit out of place still. Okay, but I think that's where I will leave that. So, now before I line the rest of her hair, let's go ahead and do her front bangs. So, you got a little symmetrical part here. Just over here. But even this is pretty dang asymmetrical now that I look at it, and seeing where my line on the other side is going. Let's see, how do I want to do this? That's the question, isn't it? I'm gonna put the entire thing in darkness for now. And I'll go ahead and smooth out what I got here, but I just think that this is a little bit too much dark. And I don't like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that somehow, I just haven't decided how yet. Because I do want to keep the darker colors on the areas next to the skin, since the skin is so light. I just need to decide how. Always the question. Maybe something like this. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. We'll see how it looks mirrored on the other side, but I will go with this for now. The rest of this I have to adjust asymmetrically anyway, so it's all good. Just trying to get that cast shadow from the chains looking good, since that is another symmetrical point. And now I can kind of smooth out this light spot that I just put in. So for now, I'm only doing front hair. I will do the back hair after I finish rendering the rest of her head. But I think I might actually be able to finish the rest of the hair today. We'll see how ambitious I am, considering I only have about 30 minutes left to stream. And I don't want to rush. I'm gonna still take my sweet time, so we'll see how much of the lines I get through. But, like, this here, not gonna take that long. The lines, however, might. Okay. And then, I don't know, do I want a little highlight there, I guess? I think it looks nice. I still need to find places to put this color, I realize, because I don't have any on here. I am surprised. But anywho, I'm a go, perfect. The parts that I do already have kind of decided. Let's get some nice colors in there. Okay, the shadow cast from the chains is pretty symmetrical, so I will go ahead and turn on symmetry for a little bit of that. I just need to clean up the asymmetrical areas a little first. Okay. And then I just want some parts coming down to make it look just a little bit more hair-like. I think that this is insufficiently hair-like right now, so I better go fix that. It's important to keep the hair looking like hair, go figure. And I want to be kind of particular about where I drop the shadows down. Very, very particular. Because that will define much of the structure of the hair here. Oh yeah, that looks good. I like this. Just gotta get the angle on this top one better. And then I think all will be well. Yes, I think all is indeed well. And I'll go ahead and add a little light right here too. In fact, I think there needs to be a lot of light here. And then I can think about where I want to put the, like, especially bright lights there. I think I know where I want them. Like, these aren't the shiny specular highlights or anything, they're just lighter spots of the hair. The shinies will come later. I actually already have them drawn. I just need to unhide the layer. But I like to do them, like, last. Once I have everything else defined. I do think that they would add a lot of three-dimensionality to hair. So I really like to put them in after I know where all the shadows go. That is just my personal taste. Okay, and then for here, I don't actually like where this is going, so I'm gonna move it, and I'm gonna send it more down on this side. Yes, I like that better. I want this front bang to stick out just a little bit more here. Congrats. I hope someday humanity can make a nice Mars base. That sounds like it'd be pretty rad. Alright, I think that's good for that strand. So I'll move on to the big middle one here. I do think I will put a little bit of shadow up at the top. Kind of round out the strand a little bit. And I think I'll do the same on this other one too, and then I guess I have to go back and perfect the shadow from the chain, unfortunately, but, you know, it is what it is. These things happen. But I think the hair is looking pretty nice here. I am happy. Okay. So I think that looks pretty good now. Let's smooth out this part, and now I can start blending in the kind step 1 dark as opposed to the really dark, and the neutral. And then I can figure out where all the lighter spots are going to go. I'm still surprised that I didn't do that earlier, but it's fine. I can do it now. It's never too late. And I think I know roughly where I'd like to put some of them. Okay, so I think that that is pretty good. I don't quite like this yet. A little bit blobby in a few areas, not quite following the structure of the hair in others. There we go. No, that doesn't follow the structure of the hair quite well enough, so I'm gonna try again. I think that's okay. Once I clean it. Okay. So I will smooth out this last little bit here. And I think that'll be it for a tier 1 shadow. So let's see, where do I want these lighter spots to go? I'd like them to separate bits of hair. So where do I think is the best for that? I actually kind of already have it all separated via shadows. So I might not need it for that. In that case, let's just let them brighten up some of the bigger clumps. So I'll do that here. looks good to me. And I'll just do this on all 3 of the front ones here. The side ones, I don't think need any. I think they're fine as they are. And I will go from there. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to start on the lines today, or maybe I'll start them, but... nah, as long as it's going to take me to put this down, I don't think so. So I think I'll do the lines next time. But that does mean that next time I will probably finish the hair, so hooray! We don't have to spend an eternity rendering anime hair. Always a good day. Alright, so I think I want one like here on half of this strand. I will get the highlights today though. I will touch those up and just have everything ready for lining next time. And I will pray that my proportions are still good, so this way I can just get right into rendering the face, because oh man, do I want to render the face. I must be patient, but I hate being patient. It's the worst. But I must. Okay, and I will let another one kind of come down to this side too. I'm just going to make this one big shape. I think it looks good like that. Okay. Yeah, I like this. I like this. Definitely adds a little bit more interesting stuff going on. So it should look a little bit more like stained glass when it comes time to add lines. And this one I think is also only going to get one highlight here. And I think I'll just let it be shaped like this. I think that is perfect. Alright, let's take a look at how this looks so far. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fantastic when I go and add the lines. I am looking forward to it. Next time's gonna be good. It'll be time to render the face. Alright. So, as promised, let's get those highlights on. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna move them around a little, as is common. This is exactly why I like to get the hair shaded first. Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and finish the asymmetrical ones first, so this way I can just turn the symmetry tool back on and get the rest. And I will let this follow the structure of the hair slightly better than I currently am. Okay, the structure is much more clearly defined now. So I know exactly where these things need to go. Let's see. I actually don't like where those are, so I'm gonna push them down just a little bit here. There we go. That's better. This one I think I'll just redraw entirely. They're gonna get a little thinner off on the side here, so I don't want to make it too thick. But I do want to make sure it has some presence. Okay, and now I can get the ones sitting here on the sides. I will add a little bit of extra highlight here. I do love specular highlights. They are just so nice. They look so pretty when done well. So I always like to take a little bit of extra time to make sure that they are just right. Exactly the way I want them to be. And I think that's the only place on her that really needs them. I thought about adding a couple more up here, but I actually don't think I like it. I think I just like them right there. So let's go ahead and smooth these out too. And then next time, which will be Monday, not tomorrow, but Monday. On Monday, I will just really make the hair sing. Gonna make everything look great. Okay. So I think the shapes I have are already pretty alright. They're just a little messy. So I'm not having to do that much work at all. The me of 5 minutes ago did great. So I don't like this one actually. Let's go ahead and make this one a little bit meatier, and then I can just add a little guy kind of in between here. I think that'll do what I wanted to do there better. Well, thank you very much. Feel like this one's been going pretty well. I'm looking forward to digging into the face next time. And then the background at some point. Background's gonna be fun. Let's see, I think this guy I will actually move over just a touch. There we go. Kind of get him on the edge of the strand. Okay, and... Oh no, that one's symmetrical. I should back up then. Okay. I have all the asymmetrical ones done, right? Yes. Okay. Oh, little touch there. Okay. So now it is time for the symmetrical ones. So I can turn my symmetry back on, and, you know, as always, that only means I have to draw half of it, which is always great for me. It looks like I missed a spot right there, so I should fix that, but I'll go ahead and finish this first, just because I'm almost done. I really am looking forward to finishing off this. It's gonna be great. Can't wait for Monday. Let's see, this one I want to scooch over a little bit, I think, but I can't do that via selection because it is symmetrical, so I'm just going to draw it. If I did it via selection, it would not be reflected on the other side, and I'd have to do a little bit more work, so let's not create work for myself and just draw it. No problem. No problem at all. Like all tools, you must know when to use the selections and when to not. Because there is a time and a place for them. Just so happened that the time for them was not now. Okay, so how's that? Good. Let's fix that mistake that I saw, and I think that'll be where I have to end. Huh. What are you from? Are you just like some residue from hair antenna? No. Residue from the headband. Okay. There we go. So I think that's where I have to leave it for today. But thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying working on it, and... it's a good time. So I do think that that's where I will stop for today, so thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow, because I do stream every day for all the new people here. So I will be here tomorrow. So hopefully see you then. Bye-bye.